Hello, I'm Mark Fisher, pastry chef here at Indian Hills. Welcome back to the studio for our next segment on cream pie making. If you remember back, you might want to refer back to our fruit pie segment where at the beginning of that I rolled out a couple different crusts to show you how to do a crust for the fruit pie. In that segment I show you how to do a crust for a cream pie. And where if you remember, I had to blind bake that, you know. Just kidding. Where we took our dough crust, and we put our beans in it and filled our beans all the way to the top of the pie pan. And we put this in the oven and baked it 10 to 12 minutes. And blind baking means so you don't actually see the shell itself. That's what blind baking refers to. After your crust has set up around the top here, we pulled our beans out and we docked it with a fork. And what docking means is getting all the air bubbles and gases that's in there, because it gets gassy once in a while, and it keeps it from blistering up. Once you've done that, you put it back in the oven, finish baking until you have a nice light golden brown crust. And then you put this aside and let it cool. You want to do this first before you start your filling. You want your crust to be cool, because if not, you have a warm crust, you're putting a warm filling into your crust. What happens, you draw moisture and you're liable to have a real soft, soggy type bottom on your crust there. So we're going to set this aside and let it cool. Ouch, that's hot. So now what I'm going to start working on my filling. And what my filling is just a basic cream filling, but I'm going to put chocolate in it this time, just make a chocolate pie filling. And I'm using a dark chocolate. You can use milk chocolate, you can use bittersweet chocolate, you can use a semi-sweet chocolate. It's whatever you prefer. And the amount, I really don't weigh this off. I just kind of add it to my filling to the color and texture I like of the filling. So it's kind of your own preference what you want to do. Well, I got my saucepan, I got my milk and sugar in that, and I'll bring that to a heat. And then in my bowl here, I got whole eggs and egg yolk, got my cornstarch and sugar mixture here. And what I want to do is I'll put this into my bowl with my eggs. And I want to stir this up until it all comes together to a nice, smooth, creamy mixture. So I'll whisk this up really good. Okay. Yeah, this is all ready. I'll leave this on my towel. And one of my other segments that I did, when you're pouring like a warm milk into your egg mixture, you want to temper that. And while I'm doing two things at one time, the wet towel will keep my bowl from moving around on my table. If I had it on the table like this here, I'd be walking all around here, and Randy couldn't keep me in his camera there. So this is all ready to go. I'm going to start on my milk. I'm going to bring this just to a slight boil. I got sugar in here too. The sugar will dissolve into the milk. Your heat's kind of important too. You don't want a real full flame. You got too much flame on it, you're liable to scorch your milk and have little brown specks in that. So this is real important. Once this gets to a boil, or just to a slight boil, I'll bring this off and I'll pour slowly into my egg mixture. I'm tempering my eggs. What I'm doing, I'm bringing the level of my egg temperature to the same level as my warm milk. If I dump that all at once real fast, you have a tendency to curdle your eggs and you would have scrambled eggs. Okay, my milk is starting to come to a boil. And you don't need a full rolling boil, just to where it starts to simmer around the edges there. Take it off the heat. Okay, I got my milk heated up. I'm going to pour it into my egg mixture. What I have here, actually I have 2 egg yolks and about 2 whole eggs, to 2 ounces of sugar and about 1.5 ounces of cornstarch. Now I whisk this all up to a nice smooth mixture. My milk, 1 pint of milk to 2 ounces of sugar. Heated that up, got the sugar dissolved, and it came to a nice boil. Then I'll take this and temper my eggs. Once I get my eggs tempered, I'll pour this back into my saucepan. And then I'll return this to the stove. Okay. Again, about a medium heat. You can kind of tell the stage it's going through when it goes back on. It's really loose and liquidy, and as it starts to cook, it'll start to thicken up. And you can see it get some body to it. You see it start to thicken. It's just about ready to come off the stove. Okay. Okay, at this point, I got some butter, about 1 ounce of butter I'll put in there. Let that melt. I'll add about a capful of vanilla. Get that mixed in. Now I'm going to start adding my chocolate to it. You want to do this while it's still warm, so the heat from the cream itself will melt the chocolate. I like it really chocolatey too. All blended really good. The chocolate, you want to make sure you have that chopped up fairly fine so it melts really nice and evenly in your filling. Then I'm going to take my spatula, scrape it down really good, that way the yellow filling is blended in with the chocolate. Once I get this all blended really good, I'm going to pour it right into my shell. And it's ready to go into the refrigerator or cooler. Let it cool down. Okay. Once it's cooled down, then you can go ahead and top it off. A couple different ways you can top it. You can use a nice whipped cream, put a nice whipped topping on that. If you don't like whipped cream, you use a meringue. Meringue is just equal parts of egg whites and sugar. You whip that up to a nice firm peak. Top that off with meringue, put it in the oven for about 10 minutes, let the meringue brown, and it's ready to be served. We have our cream pie here. Just a reminder, you need to let this chill before you put any type of topping on that. If you do it while it's warm, especially a whipped cream, it's going to make that whipped cream kind of melt and soften on it. You can do it several different ways. You know, you can just kind of spread it on, mount it on. I like using a pastry bag with a big star tip, and I can put nice big rosettes on it. And I'm just going to start at any point on here, do my rosettes. Now you can go all the way around in the middle and fill it in if you want, or you just do one big one in the center. And it's ready for service.